day, ladies and gentlemen, little sisters and brothers. Remember when we recently discovered each German Scandi armada, just like their Rus people and Kievan Rus counterparts, were equipped with a Shasu warrior caste that protected many different and distinct trader caste merchants for sword? Why? So they could take over the equally different and distinct Rehanite trade routes during the Middle Ages. Right! And we discovered they sold the exact same manufactured merchandise, including cloned human beings, on the exact same trade routes that stretched from one end of Europe to the other. You remember? I told you in a video they had a proper name when we discovered they were using the Baltic and Black Sea regions as their honeycomb hideouts. Right, little Miss Ivy. Right. They were the ones Wikipedia told us were assigned to various king's courts to do business and were given special privileges of financial autonomy through their trade. And I told you right then, these cats were deeper than they were letting on. Well, I can't hear if you remember all that because this is a video. If you don't, please go back and listen to them so you can understand the perfect geographical, political, and economic links to this video. If you do remember, let's dig a little deeper, shall we? According to Wikipedia under Hanseatic League, Hanseatic, League. Listen closely. What's that, little Miss Ivy? You're right. A league can be the exact same thing as an armada. Sharp eye, my little apprentice. Sharp eye. That can only mean, just like our theory suggests, there were many different and distinct trader factions with a master DNA nation in tow. Check it out. Quote, the Hanseatic League was a commercial and defensive confederation of merchant guilds with an S and merchant towns in northwestern and central Europe, growing from a few North German towns in the late 1100s. Bingo. The league came to dominate Baltic maritime trade for 3 centuries along the coast of northern Europe. Hansa territories stretched from the Baltic to the North Sea and inland during the late Middle Ages and diminished slowly after 1450. Stop. Bingo! So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, unless you believe there were 2 leagues that dominated the exact same trade routes at the exact same time, we are overlaying our beloved German Scandinavian armada understanding. Oh yeah, please write these dates down. Our next series will pick up where this armada dispensation leaves off. But let's continue for more clues, shall we? I'm going to let the beat rock so you can witness the many facets and the full power of a fully functioning and operational replacement armada. Listen closely. Quote, Hansa, later spelled as Hansa, Hansa, was the old High German word for a convoy, and this word was applied to bands of merchants traveling between the Hanseatic cities, whether by land or by sea. Merchant circles established the league to protect the guild's economic interests and diplomatic privileges in their affiliated cities and countries, as well as along the trade routes which the merchants used. I'm going to go back and say it again. Merchant circles established the league to protect the guild's economic interests and diplomatic privileges in their affiliated cities and countries, as well as along the trade routes which the merchants use. Listen and proceed. The Hanseatic cities had their own legal system and operated their own armies for mutual protection and aid. Despite this, the organization was not a state, nor could it be called a confederation of city-states. Only a very small number of the cities within the League enjoyed autonomy and liberties comparable to those of a free imperial city. Stop! Bingo! Bingo! And as you will soon see when we get to our modern Israeli series, this exact same setup, military force and all, was relocated to Palestine in the 1920s as a forerunner. Some would say harbinger. But as far as this video is concerned, did we not hear about the exact same financial and trade autonomy given to the German Scandi Armada by the kings of England as well? Yes. Yes, we did. So it is plausible we are talking about the exact same replicas. Am I right about it? Somebody tell me if I'm right about it. And as you probably know, even today, each Israeli faction, and they got many, have their own rules, but are subjugated to the main authority. But let's continue for more clues, shall we? Listen to them tell us, hear this out. Listen to them tell us how a new and fresh armada takes over a location. Under history, perceptual context. Listen closely for the German Rus Armada trade route links, as in, they all came to do the exact same thing. They just came out at different times and different locations designed to link up together perfectly later. And as you will see throughout this series, they do. Let's continue. Quote, historians generally trace the origins of the Hasidic League to the rebuilding. First thing we should know, what happens when we hear rebuilding of something? There was a destruction of something, or our old Greek understanding of, this city was abandoned, and 70 years later, boof, it's spry again. What's going on? But listen to this. And then the very fact it came on the scene of the rebuilding came on the scene, and it became a it. That makes you want to say, But listen up. Historians generally trace the origins of the Hasidic League to the rebuilding of the North German town of Lubeck in 1159 by the powerful Henry the Lion, Duke of Saxony and Bavaria, after he had captured the area from Adolf II, Count of Schussenberg and Holstein. Exploratory trading adventures, raids, and piracy had occurred earlier throughout the Baltic region. Sailors of Gotland, which is in Sweden, sailed up the river as far away as Novgorod, for example, which is Russia. There's the link. Bingo. But the scale of international trade in the Baltic area remained insignificant before the growth of the Hasidic League. It's before the growth. But when they came on the scene, as you will see, the international trade in the Baltic went through the roof. Continue. Quote, German cities achieved domination of the trade in the Baltic with striking speed during the 13th century, and Lubeck became a central node in the seaborne trade that linked the areas around the North and Baltic Seas. Stop. Bingo. Again. Unless you are willing to walk the plank and say there were two Baltic/North Sea merchant leagues/armadas who, quote, sailed up rivers as far away as Novgorod, man, we talking about the exact same German Scandi Armada we discovered earlier. We just overlaying the information. But I know. I'm colored. And it seems that YouTube has put me in their suggestions next to all Ashkenazi rabbis. I look at it, man. I'm not next to black people anymore. I used to be next to like Lion, Judah Lion, and Watchman, and his chick, and whatever. Look at it now. Each and every one of them are pure white Ashkenazi rabbis. So yeah, they trying to set me up. So I'm gonna make these things as brief as possible, without saying anything too much, because they want to get them all over me. You know what I mean? Like spider monkey. You know, that's their MO. So let's continue. But I know, I'm colored. I got that. I got that. Let's continue so the white man can tell you the exact same thing. Oh yeah. Remember when we discovered in all of our history series thus far that the Shasu warriors would leave a garrison in each of their Armada territories for protection? I pray thee to tell me not nay, so I can ask you yet just one more question. Not that anyone would ever believe this, but remember when we read the white man was racially insensitive lately? I know it's hard for you to believe, and it's hard to think about it. But I'm talking about when he admitted they only wanted the Israelis around because they knew how to get the economy started, etc. I can't hear your answer because this is a video. But if you remember that dark stain in political correctness, check this out. Under foundation and formation, cutting to the chase. Quote, well before the term Hanzi appeared in a document in 1267, merchants in different cities began to form guilds or Hanzas with the intention of trading with towns overseas, especially in the economically less developed Eastern Baltic. There's the link. There's the link. This area was a source of timber, wax, amber, resin, and fur, along with rye and wheat brought down on barges from the hitherland to port markets. Shasu alert, quote, the towns raised their own armies, with each guild required to provide levies when needed. The Hanseatic cities came to the aid of one another, and commercial ships often had to be used to carry soldiers and their arms. Stop! Shasu garrison bingo! So let's continue, please. Now they are about to tell us how the new clones solidified the old intercontinent trade routes proper like. Quote, Visby functioned as the leading center for the Baltic before the Hansa. Sailing east, Visby merchants established a trading post at Novgorod called Gutagard in 1080. Listen closely. Merchants from northern Germany also stayed in the early period of the Götaland settlements, Sweden. Later, they established their own trading station in Novgorod, Russia, known as Petrograd Rus, which was further upriver in the first half of the 13th century. In 1229, German merchants at Novgorod were granted certain privileges that made their position more secure. Hansa societies worked to remove restrictions to trade from their members. They're talking about all of the Scandi Jews, all of the trade merchants, which was the Scandi Jews, the German, the Rus, and the Kievan. But now here's the proof how I know there were new and fresh upgrades for the new and fresh, fast-changing times. Quote, before the official foundation of the League in 1356, The word Hansi, now notice it came to dominate now, but the word Hansi did not occur in the Baltic language. Gotlanders used the word Barjag. The earliest remaining documentary mentioning, although without a name, of a specific German commercial federation is from London in 1157. Stop. Bingo. But like little Miss Ivy likes to say, let's speed the ball up, shall we? I guess y'all already know what the bingo's off of that. Now I want you to just sit back. Yeah, that's what I want you to do. I just want you to just sit back, chill, relax, and listen to how kings rose and fell as the entire European world was taken over city by city, district by district, country by country, trade route by trade route, and aboriginal guild by aboriginal guild. And like what is being done to this very day. For everybody knows, he who controls commerce becomes the real kingmakers. Right? Case in point. Let's continue, please. I just gotta let the beat rock on this one.